here every year.
You're clearly triggering this woman, right?
Triggering?
But it's okay. I'm passionate about this.
Am I triggering you?
I don't care how you feel. This is my protest, bro. You can
You
go.
don't own this protest?
I'm the organizer. I will have your ass hacked up in the back of a police car quicker than you can
Hacked up? What does that mean?
move.
What's up, guys? Nuance Bro checking in. We're here in Houston, Texas at the Trump rally, and we're in line. Look at all these MAGA hats all around.
Yes, I know I'm right.
Pan it, pan it. All right, let's go talk to people, see what's going on. So why are we out here today?
Well, I live pretty close by, and it's always cool that the president's in town, and I generally am a supporter, so I figured even if I couldn't get inside, it would just be kind of cool to, like, see the vibe of the crowd outside, you know?
And do you support the president?
Yes.
Why?
I just generally think he's putting America back on track. It seems like we've lost all hold of our traditions, our values, what's made us sacred, what's made us stand out as the best country in the world for over 100 years. And I believe that Trump is patriotic in wanting to restore some sort of American glory.
And how is he doing that?
Well, I believe that he's just prioritizing certain issues that you know, people who really yearn for patriotism and yearn for what America has always been. He embodies that. I'm not saying that legislatively he's been extremely successful. I don't think any one politician can be, but generally I think his view is putting America back on track, and I generally support his views.
Sure, but like, is there anything he's done specifically that you think has embodied like what you've been talking about?
I think the Muslim ban is good. I don't believe in just this sort of open borders. Anybody from the third world can just pour into the country. I believe in a merit-based system, which I believe Trump is strongly pushing, and Beto is almost the exact opposite. He's just sort of catering to anybody who can get here to get a vote, it seems.
So with the Muslim ban, even Trump wouldn't call it a Muslim ban right now. It bans only like certain countries. Some of them aren't even majority Muslim countries.
No, that's true.
Yeah, so what do you think about him banning countries like Iran, but then not banning countries like Saudi Arabia, where the 9/11 hijackers were from Saudi Arabia?
I think it's absolute bullshit. No doubt, no doubt. So I'm not just a diehard, everything the man does is gold. I think Saudi Arabia should also be subject to the ban, yeah. Sure. Possibly, you know, we have to look into it. But
so you're not a supporter of it necessarily because it doesn't actually. It seems like it was more political than it was actually anything pragmatic to actually save American lives or make us safer.
You know, it's possible, but it's starting some discussion that I think needs to be had in this country.
Sure. And do you think it would be constitutional to enact anything like a Muslim ban given the First Amendment?
Yes, those people are not citizens. If they are a citizen and they are a Muslim, they have every right to be here. But as far as people who are not citizens of the country, the president has absolute authority over immigration law.
Sure, but do you think the First Amendment only applies to citizens? Because the First Amendment says Congress shall make no law, and it doesn't talk anything about citizens.
Throughout the history of this nation, we have looked at certain groups of people that we don't want here, and we have taken action to make sure that they are not here.
Sure, immigration-wise, but I meant on the citizens' question about the Bill of Rights and how it extends to them or not. I mean, surely it extends to legal residents that are here. Surely it extends to even, temporary like visa holders who are within the borders of the United States, right?
Yes. I believe if you're already in the process of becoming a citizen that we shouldn't go back on that, but there needs to be a cutting off point, I believe. At least with immigration from certain countries.
And is there any other policies that you agree with? I mean, you named the Muslim ban, but we already talked about that a little bit. What else?
I believe in the border wall. I believe that Trump is emboldening the traditional evangelical Christian base of this country, and I believe those people, considering they've always been dominant in America, they seem to be kind of forgotten because it seems politicians recently are more interested in other issues than catering to the people who have been here for generations.
Do you think he embodies the values of evangelical America?
No, I wouldn't say that at all, but I'd say he is one of the biggest players on our team, even if he doesn't embody evangelical values. I mean, like I said, I'm not a complete diehard supporter. I just believe he's having discussion that needs to be had in this country, and he's generally pushing things in a certain direction. Is it these immediate overnight effects now?
So why are we out here today?
Well, we want to stop Trump. We believe he's a fascist, where he's going to be bringing the country down into fascism, and we want to stop it because we love our country.
Is there any specific policies of his that you really oppose?
Pretty much all of them. I think he's lying most of the time on anything like improving the economy. We all know that Obama was responsible for that. I also don't believe in anything he's doing with the immigrants. Not at all. I think it's unconscionable and it's immoral.
And what's the issue that you're most passionate about that you think Trump is destructive to?
I think Trump is an embarrassment to the globe. The most important issue to me would be the hypocrisy about the abortion issue. They don't care about babies. They don't care once they're here, only they care about fetuses. And I don't want somebody telling me what I can do with my pregnancy.
Is there any legislation they've been pushing really hard for that they have a realistic chance of passing right now?
And what are you talking about?
Is there any legislation that they have right now that has a realistic chance of passing that they're really pushing for with abortion?
Yeah, for the abortion issue. Yeah, they just put a judge in the Supreme Court that's going to curb our rights to having an abortion.
Sure, that's not legislation, but that's like kind of speculation on what the judge would do. But there's no real evidence for that necessarily.
Except for Trump said he wouldn't put anybody in there that would be pro-abortion rights.
Isn't Trump a giant liar though?
Well, yeah, he is, but you know he did that. That's how he gets his support. I know people who can't stand him, but they're anti-abortion rights, so they follow him.
True. So we don't know because we don't know what's true, what's a lie with Trump a lot of times.
Yeah.
So maybe he says something to his base. He's like, I just really want this judge. And some people speculated that he put Kavanaugh in because they think he would, like, if he was ever to like get rid of Mueller or something and try to end the investigation, that Mueller would come out on his side for that. That Kavanaugh would come on his side for that. So they don't even think it's connected to the abortion issue necessarily. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it is connected to the abortion issue. I think Kavanaugh is all about the abortion issue. He put somebody in there that's going to be favorable to him and take our rights away for abortion.
Sure, but last time when he became a federal judge initially, didn't he say that Roe v. Wade was established law of the land?
Yeah, that's what he said because he can appear a moderate, but he's not.
Sure. But what's the evidence that he would actually overturn Roe v. Wade?
Trump nominated him. That's all the evidence I need to know.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey guys, look, another Trump baby. One in Los Angeles, now one here in Houston, Texas. By the way, you guys, if you like the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell for future videos. So why are we out here today?
Well, we are protesting because I feel like we deserve to have a voice about, what we feel in this country, and I think it's necessary for us to speak up if we disagree about something and not be silenced in fear about or hate or lies or discrimination.
And what do you disagree with?
I disagree with some of his policies that he's passed by, some of the things he said, he's tweeted. He obviously has some issues that I don't think are, good for our country. And, that pretty much sums up.
Sure, but which one specifically?
For example, like when he talks about the wall, I don't think that's a good investment for our country. I think most of the people that come in here illegally are people who come in actually, like it's not as much as people who come in here legally through planes, and they stay here. And those are the people that make up most of illegal immigration. People who overstay their visas, not people who cross the border.
But do you think it would help with like situations like this caravan that's coming up right now that some people estimate might have almost 10,000 people? Don't you think it could potentially help with those kind of situations, or just, because we already get, I think, just through the border itself, through its permeability, I think maybe almost like millions of people a year?
300,000.
What's that?
300,000.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, it is. But the caravan is not here, it's not like infiltrating or attacking or something like that. The caravan is people seeking asylum. They're trying to seek asylum in this country, and they have the right to apply to seek asylum. No, they're not just gonna, I don't know what they're thinking,
What do you think? They're going through a bunch of countries in order to get to the U.S.
Yes.
And they're, basically kind of violating the laws of the countries they're even kind of going through in order to get to us. What do you think about that? And also, what do you think about the reports that have been saying that there are actually people paying these people money? There's actually video of them paying out people money in this crowd.
I think that this kind of coverage helps, people instill fear in people. I don't think a lot of where are the the sources? Who are the sources? That I think is a major problem.
Do you think it should be investigated?
I think it should be investigated. I think there should be a good non-biased media. I'm not for bashing one side or bashing the other. I think we're not bashing anyone. We're here trying to stand in unity to protest our right to our beliefs, our freedom of speech.
So with regards to illegal immigration, what do you think is the solution? What do you think we should do?
I don't know if I have a solution for that, off the top of my head.
I think what's missing today is our empathy. We have to remember that our country was founded on immigration. Texas itself.
Well, not founded necessarily.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, like 1776.
We could debate that all day, but nobody was from here except the Indians. Beyond that, Texas used to be Mexico, if we really want to get there. My grandma was from San Marcos, she speaks English, because we're Tejana. We are from Texas. A lot of us originate from here. This was our country, So the thing is, I really think that empathy is missing. People don't come here and travel, like you said, through countries walking because they plan on committing a crime. You only do that because you're that far gone. Like, there is no hope left where you come from. You're willing to die to march through countries. Would you march through countries? Would you even march through the next town?
So what I'm saying, what should we do about that though? Because we obviously can't help
It should be
everybody.
a case basis, and it should be based upon their situation.
You said on a case-by-case basis, but also couldn't the case be made that just overall as a country, at a certain point, you can't just take everybody in, right? Like if we have, hundreds of millions of people in other countries.
Here's the thing is that
It's not, nobody's advocating for so open borders.
I know, but you said case-by-case.
Yes, case-by-case basis, because you have to understand, if you are sacrificing your life and the life of your children to come here, there must be a good reason for you to want to come here.
Sure, but I guess my question is, I'm sure you would say, the situation in Honduras is horrible. The situation in El Salvador, horrible. The situation in a lot of sub-Saharan African countries, horrible. A lot of countries in the Middle East, especially areas that were taken over by ISIS and lost a lot of government control, horrible. But that's hundreds of millions of people. Wouldn't all those people qualify?
We should make it easier for people to become citizens. I've worked with a lot of people.
Has nothing to do with citizenship, though.
But it does, because let me tell you, how many people do you know who have been in this country since they were babies? Even married a citizen, even went to the army, went to college and everything, and cannot become a citizen. The process is not that easy. It does need to be made easier. As far as people crossing the border, again, we have to have some kind of empathy, because that's what our country was. Our country's supposed to be great, not make it great again. Our country's supposed to be great and good and made up of good people. We're here today because we believe that there are good people today. In order to...
I'm sorry, but it doesn't answer the question that I posed to you about the hundreds of millions of people in those countries, which you would probably agree almost all of them.
Hundreds of millions of people don't come to here once every year. It is not hundreds of millions, but it's not hundreds of millions of people that come here every year.
You're clearly triggering this woman, right?
Triggering?
But it's okay. I'm passionate about this.
Am I triggering you?
I don't care how you feel. This is my protest, bro. You can
You
go.
don't own this protest?
I'm the organizer. I will have your ass hacked up in the back of a police car quicker than you can
Hacked up? What does that mean?
We're good.
move.
good.
No,
No,
we're
I'm
not.
good.
Threatening me?
Go.
Are you threatening me?
Go.
Hey, don't assault me, dude.
Go.
What are you doing?
Go.
Don't put your hands
Go.
on me.
Go.
Keep walking.
I didn't assault.
I have. Yes, you did. I have it on camera, dude.
Keep walking.
I have it on camera.
Keep walking.
I'm not. No, I have the right to be
Keep
here.
walking.
I have
This
the
is a
right to
protest
be
zone.
here.
You don't have a right to be here.
I was talking to
Keep
people.
walking.
What do you mean I'm kidding?
Keep walking.
Don't talk to him.
He touched me. It's
walking.
technically assault. What are you talking about, man?
No, nobody.
No, dude, that's bull.
Go.
I was just having a civil conversation with these.
Pig that came through here.
What are you talking about, man?
Get the out, sir. What?
If you want me to handle it, let me handle it.
He's still talking to me.
But
I
don't
have
talk
free
to
speech.
You're right. You're right. Let me
Get him
handle
out.
it. Let
Get
me
him
handle
out.
it.
Get him out. Because if he don't go,
I have it on camera of him putting his hands on me and trying to push me out. It's on camera. It's on camera.
Go.
This way, sir.
Sure.
Get the out.
Jeez. So why are we out here today?
Here to see the Trump rally. I've watched a lot of them on TV, and now that he came to Houston, I wanted to see what this is about.
Sure. Did you vote for Trump?
Oh, yeah.
And why did you do that?
Because he's a businessman, not a politician, and this country's had enough of the establishment politicians. You see where that's taken us.
Sure. And what policies of his do you agree with?
Lower taxes, building up the military so you never have to use it, patriotism, not socialism, capitalism.
What do you think about the budget deficit?
I think the budget deficit is a problem. He's going to have to attack that.
And why do you think it's gone up during his administration, even though the economy's booming?
I think the near-term tax revenues are probably alluded to a little bit, but the government still spends way more than... We have a spending problem, not a tax problem.
Yeah, he has asked for a spending cut across the board. I think 5%.
5% all his budget.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna be able to achieve that, and what time frame?
I think he will. I think they're going to... The establishments will do it kicking and screaming, but if he's there for 4 years only, then it'll be a problem. If he gets another term, yeah, it'll happen.
Sure. And what do you think about that? So right now we have that caravan coming up and all these things, and some people are worried it might come, a little bit before the midterms, and it's going to create another problem, just like we had with the child separation and stuff. What did you think about that whole child separation issue that happened on earlier?
I think it was a contrived issue.
How so?
I think they were doing the same thing under the Obama administration.
They weren't. He changed the policy. He made it a zero tolerance policy.
He started enforcing it. The law was still in place, and Obama did it selectively, but it wasn't reported on.
I mean, I guess they would say they were enforcing it in a civil manner, whereas Trump was enforcing it through a criminal, like it was a criminal matter.
Those pictures of kids in cages were actually from when Obama was president.
I know, that's why I didn't cite them. Someone else actually brought up the cages comment on the other side, and I told him, I was like, that was actually under Obama's administration.
The whole thing's contrived.
But you don't think it's an issue when like people are coming up and they're looking for a better life for their families, and then they separate them? Like, he stopped it for a reason. He stopped
I think
it.
anyone that leaves their country, either with their kids, accompanying their kids or not, is clearly, in some form, shape, or manner, understands the risks, and they clearly are deciding that's still safer for their kids than staying where they were.
Sure, but does it make it right for us to separate them from their children?
They're not separated forever.
But does that still make it right? I mean, he stopped the policy, right? That's why they changed it.
At some point when you were growing up, your parents may have said two rights don't make a wrong. So it's not right to enter the country illegally. So
two wrongs don't make a right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that what I say.
The two rights make a wrong.
Yeah, two wrongs don't make a right. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, but I mean, he did reverse the policy, so clearly he saw that something was wrong. So do you agree with his reversal on that policy?
I think the laws of this country need to be enforced. I think it's about time Congress has their laws enforced. Otherwise, they shouldn't pass them. This is a congressional issue, not a presidential issue.
Thank you. Sure. By the way, guys, trips like this to Houston get kind of expensive, so if you want to support the channel, please go to www.patreon.com/nuancebro if you want to support the channel and make Nuance part of America again. That was cheesy. Now I see you have this sign. It says, "Why Trump is so beholden to Putin. Wake up, America. Smell the urine." And on the back of this sign, it says, "Donald, please do not forget we still possess the P tape." Yes. So do you believe in the P tape narrative?
Yeah, you know, a conservative line is like, "Hey, all this stuff is made up." Let me ask you something. Why would the Democrats pay an organization to hire a former intelligence expert who has contacts in Russia millions of dollars just to come up with this fake information? They could have sat around a table, paid nothing, and just made up even more, salacious stuff.
Well, it could come with more legitimacy if you hire someone. I mean, I'm sure you know the tactic of COINTELPRO, right?
Sorry again?
COINTELPRO. When agents from like the CIA or whatever, even the police, they go into organizations and they put out fake information as if it's legitimate, and they disseminate it to media organizations in order to create some sort of narrative.
Oh, yes.
And then you also probably know about Project Mockingbird, and the CIA goes into news media like mainstream news, and they put their narrative through there as well. So, I mean, there is this sort of like history of these intelligence organizations putting. I'm sure you didn't believe them when they said there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, for example.
Well, I was in the first Gulf War, and David Kay did a great job of removing any inklings of the nuclear, biological, chemical weapons. So they might have found some in the second Gulf War, but it's stuff that was left over from previous. It wasn't new stuff.
So when you say he's kind of a puppet of Putin or whatever, does that make sense given the actions he's taken against Russia right now? I think recently he just withdrew from like one of the nuclear agreements, right? So we want to increase our nuclear arsenal. Russia hates that. We've sent ships into the Black Sea, I believe. That threatens Russia. Well, we've also threatened their access to oil through Germany, I think. Like Germany wants to buy oil through Russia, I believe, and we said don't do that. We also we bombed Syria. Russia doesn't like that. It seems like Trump has taken the most action against Russia as opposed to almost any other administration post-Soviet Union.
Yeah. Now, Trump has to do something. If he just rolled over and did nothing, it would be obvious.
So damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Well, other things that he's, like when he says, we killed a bunch of Russian mercenaries. That fight was incidental. The American troops are there. The Russians ran into them, and then they got into a shooting match where the Americans, ended up, the victors. And so Trump embraced that and said, "Hey, yeah, making it look like he coordinated this attack against Russians." It was incidental. It was accidental. Yeah.
People usually think of Trump, especially at these sort of protests, as like he's some buffoon, he's an idiot, and he does all these things and he doesn't know what he's talking about. But at the same time, in order to believe things like this, don't you kind of have to believe he's some sort of mastermind who won't leak information about like his secret collusion with Russia?
Well, personally, I don't think President Trump is as intelligent as he says he is. Now, is he devious? Does he know how to manipulate stuff? He's a master at it. Okay, but
you think he can keep a secret this big, and so far Mueller hasn't found anything?
Well, we don't know what Mueller has because he's a true professional and has been keeping his mouth.
Well, no, he's brought charges against people, but has nothing to do with this Russia stuff.
I know, but those are the little fish. He's going to go after the big fish, and we're going to see. But you know what? My greatest fear is who'll catch Trump or his associates dead to right in coordinating with the Russians to help him in the election. But either Mueller or his boss, will get fired, and then the information will get buried. Or if it's ever exposed, people won't care.
So why are we out here today?
Support President Trump, Donald, and Ted Cruz.
Oh yeah, go red.
All right. So why do we support them?
I love the stances on pro-choice or pro-life. I'm sorry, not pro-choice. Pro-life, lower taxes. Let's keep Texas red. Ted Cruz, his stance with law and order, I can't go wrong with it. He did a case several years back where there was a Mexican national that was convicted of murder of 2 young girls. Mexico wanted him back. He said, no, you're not. We're going to put him to death. And Ted Cruz fought for that, fought for the state of Texas to get the justice for that family. And you can't just say he's not for law and order when you see that. And those 2 girls were actually from the hometown that I grew up in.
Yeah, and he also, even when the case in San Francisco with Kate Steinle, he tried to pass the Kate's Law and everything. So what do you guys think of what like you said pro-life, for example? What was that?
Don't even watch the language.
Yeah, I'm the one that they gotta watch everybody.
For sure. Yeah. So you said pro-life, but you knew Trump has made like a lot of pro-choice statements in the past. Do you think he's like honestly changed about that, or do you think he's kind of appealing to his base?
No, I really believe he's honestly changed about that just by looking at his Supreme Court nominations and confirmations.
Is that Trump has really changed everybody's mindset about legalization. Is that
legalization of what?
Marijuana.
How so?
He's requesting, everybody's response about legalizing marijuana. Yeah, I've drank.
He has? I thought he was kind of against that because he's been.
Jeff Sessions is against.
He put him into power.
Well, Jeff Sessions is no longer, Trump's favorite person, and Trump has asked for the comments of other people on the legalization of marijuana. And I think that Trump's for it.
Yeah, so what do you guys think about the budget deficit right now? Because the economy's booming, but we're actually we're still in a bigger budget deficit than we were last year.
The second round of tax cuts are going to be for American people. He's already said that. And all I got to say is that the
unemployment's dropped. The thing about the budget deficit is the more people you put to work, the more tax revenue our government gets. Whereas the Democrats say, we're going to raise your taxes and we're going to raise corporate taxes. Well, corporate taxes go sky high. They don't hire anybody, so you don't have the workforce putting the tax base into the government. And with the tax rate coming into the government that we've got, it's coming in now, we can use that money as well to bring down our deficit. Plus, as the United States, we send so much money in foreign aid, which we could be applying towards our federal deficit. If we were to really call in all of our chits for every country that owes us money, then our deficit would be almost not 100% wiped out, but it would be reduced quite substantially. All these countries still owe us money, and we're still building other countries after World War II and Korea, and we're still giving all this money out. I'm for what Donald Trump's doing. One of these things, he says, you know what, Honduras, El Salvador, all these countries that are sending up the migration wave right now, cut their funding off. Take that money and apply it to our federal deficit.
Yeah, but that would only amount to maybe a few $100 million.
Yes.
Or something. I think all of our foreign aid together is maybe like $50 billion a year, something like that.
It's not a lot, but it can help. Sure, yeah. And right now we're just paying interest on this stuff.
So if we get a bigger tax base going on, more people are working, more money's coming into the government.
Well, they are already, right? So we have the really low, like 3.7% unemployment. The economy's growing at about 4% a year. I mean, it's been a few quarters of 4%. Well, the problem is the budget deficit's still growing. So why is that happening?
Well, I didn't hear y'all bitching about Obama raising the.
I bitched about it a lot. 1.6 trillion.
Obama raised it quite a bit.
Was it really him, or was it through decreased tax revenue because of the recession that we were in?
A lot of it had to do with the decreased tax revenue from the recession, and I also attribute a lot of it to George Bush. I voted for George Bush both times. He did a lot of things that I was not happy with. The deficit grew under him just as much. It didn't grow as much under him as it did under Obama. It grew under Obama more than it did any other president in history. I know Donald Trump's trying to get it reduced. I don't think any
proposed the 5% cut across the board.
Yes. But I don't think it's not going to be one president's ever going to be able to just say it's balanced. As much as everybody likes saying, "Oh, Bill Clinton balanced the budget." Yeah, but look at what he cut. He cut everything across the board, military spending. I served in Clinton's.
Wasn't that under the Republican Congress, though?
It was under the Republican Congress, and thank goodness we've got some of those guys are now gone.
Newt Gingrich contract with America, right?
Yes. And I was a lot younger at those times, so I didn't follow politics or the way the country was.
I wasn't even born, I don't think. No, I was like 2 years old, maybe.
I was in the Navy at that time, so it was hard for me to follow a lot of it because I was busy doing my job in the Navy. But there are so many cuts going across that he was able to balance it by saying, "Oh, we're not going to give the military this spending. We're not going to give this spending to this or this spending to that." And I don't remember everything that was there, honestly. And I really should be more involved. I mean, I've been more involved in the last 10 years, and so I think the federal deficit, it's something we got to work on. I don't know the solution. I know that Obamacare was part of the biggest problem ever on it.
Oh, God, yes.
And I see you have a QAnon shirt on. If you could get a shot of the QAnon shirt.
Yeah.
So what is Q?
Q is a group of people, probably less than 10, that's military intelligence that actually asked Donald Trump to run for president. Barack Obama, they were just a hair away from completely destroying our country. If Hillary would have won, I was thinking about moving to Ireland. They want to turn it completely over to the globalists, the European Union be a one world government. And Trump is completely against that, and he wants to make us and he wants to make America great again.
How do we know this information about Q?
Well, they have it on 8chan. First it started on 4chan. But the way we know it's true is Donald Trump will give us little clues in his tweets, his misspellings.
His misspellings are intentional.
They are intentional. And, we laugh because people make fun of him, but he's
like the Covfefe one.
Yeah, he's sending us messages.
What was Covfefe about?
Now, I didn't know that one, but I think it is, but I still don't know.
But how do we know? Because 8chan and 4chan are known for trolling a lot of times. So how do we know these people are being legit with their QAnon statements and things like that? How do we know there's any evidence behind any of this?
Well, because Donald Trump has been he's been letting us know. He'll make a Q sign. He puts out.
Isn't a lot of that coincidence?
No. If it's just a few times, yes, but over and over and over.
Yeah, but people always pick out. He's on TV all the time, so you could always pick out certain things and make them seem like they're happening all the time. But it's really just, they're picking those certain instances to kind of support their own view, but it doesn't really mean anything.
True, but they give us clues of things that's going to happen in the future, and they typically do.
Why would he have to keep those secret? He talks about things so openly all the time. Why does he have to why does he have to do these secret,
because he's
clues?
Out to take down the cabal, the worldwide, not just in America.
Yeah, but he talks about that. He just talked about that in his speech about the globalists. He doesn't make any secret about it, so why would he have to be secretive about this?
His detailed plan. Now, he can't put everything out there because he knows everyone's watching. Everybody is. So sometimes he has to put out some disinformation, like with Rod Ryan and Mueller. It's like, are they or aren't they?
Well, do you think Mueller is like a good guy? He's actually on Team Trump?
I don't know.
That's what QAnon says. He's a white hat.
He hasn't. He's left it a question to mess with the other side, and you'll see them react to it too.
And what other kind of conspiracy theories do you believe in?
Well, maybe 9/11. I never really did before. I haven't got into it that much, but I think there may be something to that.
Well, there was a conspiracy of 19 hijackers from Middle Eastern countries who, I mean, is that the conspiracy you're talking about? What's the actual conspiracy that you believe in?
The U.S. government was in on it.
And what's the evidence for that?
Well, that's what I said. I haven't really followed that too much because I always thought it was ridiculous. But I would say the craziest thing, and even Q hasn't said this, but they look up to JFK a lot, and a lot of the crumbs that they leave for us, they talk about JFK constantly. And he was friends with Donald Trump, JFK Jr. So some people are thinking that maybe JFK Jr. didn't really die in that plane crash.
What? JFK Jr. is still alive?
Maybe.
Why is he hiding?
Because they were trying to kill him.
So he's just been hiding this whole time and he's successfully done so?
He was trying to avenge his father's murderers and find out who they were.
You think that's going to happen?
I hope so. There's these strange...
Do you think he's alive?
I don't know.
'Cause what's the evidence for it? Like someone just said it and then people believe it?
Well, it's hard to explain. There was somebody who came out that was R. And
R, not Q. So the letter before Q.
Right. And a lot of the stuff, I mean, it'll be like Trump is 17, JFK Jr. is 18. And you have to be really good at math, which I'm not.
Well, I feel like they trick a lot of people with they make everything so complicated that they can make anything seem like anything, and then people will believe it, and if they just say so.
I don't go down all the math and stuff, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right. I guess well, let's make a prediction. There's probably some prediction Q has made that something's going to happen.
They're saying November 22nd.
Hey, what's going to happen?
He's going to make himself, he'll come back out.
What do you mean? He's going to...
JFK Jr.
He's going to reveal himself. Yes. So if he doesn't reveal himself on November 22nd, is QAnon just bullshit?
No.
Well, what would have to happen?
Q has never said that JFK Jr. is alive, ever.
But what would Q have to do or say, or what evidence would have to come out to prove to you that QAnon is just like a hoax?
Well, one of the last things he said before they went quiet was the way it's going to happen is someone's going to ask Donald Trump, is Q real? And his response will be, where we go one, we go all.
So we need a reporter to ask that question, and then Trump won't say that, and then you'll believe that Q isn't real if he doesn't say that.
I don't know.
You have to have something that would say that you won't believe in it.
If he said it wasn't real. People have asked him, though, and they asked him, they were wearing a Q shirt, and he asked him, he was at the VIP at a rally, and he said, is Q real or not? And he said Donald Trump looked him right in the eye and paused.
So there's no video evidence of this? Someone could just be trolling on the boards like they always do.
No, this was on Twitter.
Well, people lie on Twitter all the time.
Right. I mean, he could be. But he did get to meet him. He's going to be posting his picture. And he said that Trump said, you never know. That's what he said.
I think Trump also has a sense of humor, so.
He does. He's hilarious.
All right. I thank you so much. I appreciate it.
welcome.
All right, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Support me on Patreon. Social media links are in the description box below, as well as merch. And I'll see you next time. Bro.